Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Tyler Nethercott, better known as Teapot, here with Parker, my head of data. He's the guy adding all the cards to Market Movers, but this time I'm dragging him back into a video because, well, Parker, I smoked you the last time around that we did this. The comments knew the truth, and as we watched it play out over the ensuing months, this challenge got a little out of control. We are coming back for a 90-day challenge, and the goal is to take $1,000 again and just turn it into more than $1,000. We're gonna see who can make the most money by pretty much anything. It doesn't matter. You can go to value bins, you can go to the showcases, you can go to the sealed product, whatever your approach would be, Parker. Anything goes. The goal is to make money in 90 days. And it doesn't have to be like, in 90 days I would sell everything. It could mean you find something in here and you go, I could flip this on eBay right away, or I could sell this. So 2 days, a week, 30 days, all within that 90-day time frame. And all of you are going to vote down in the comments who won this challenge. The twist here is last time we ran around together and we did this last summer, and this time I'm gonna let you go first. So you literally get first dibs to anything out here on the show floor before I even ever get a chance to look at it. So we're gonna come back together, I'm gonna go back to my desk, give you some time to walk around with Rob and decide. And what I want from you is to make sure you're telling the audience your thought process. What's your approach? How do you like to go about something like this? Let them know. We'll come back together at the end, show each other our cards, and then let everybody else decide who the winner is. So sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
Any questions?
What's the time limit again?
We're gonna have about a half hour each to go through here. We're gonna get a lot of good footage of the cards, and then we'll show everybody kind of what we came up with.
Alrighty, I gotta get my revenge.
Yep, and if there's any gotchas along the way that you think of, things that people should just be aware of, make sure to let them know that too. We want this to be very realistic. No idealism here. This is, it's always a gamble when you're trying to flip and speculate, so talk through the whole process with them.
Will do.
All right, man.
All right.
Good luck.
Alrighty, guys. So Teapot's in the back. I got my half hour. Let's go beat Teapot this round. So where I'm going to start is, I think, in the basketball, because we have the basketball draft coming up. Playoffs are happening right now, but thinking 90 days out. Players are going to get drafted, so I'm going to see if I can find any prospects like Cooper Flagg, for example. There's a lock to be the #1 pick this year. Excuse me. So let's see if we can find any of his cards. Now I know he kind of fizzled out in the NCAA tournament, but he was actually supposed to be in high school this past year when he was a freshman at Duke, which is insane. And now he's going to be the #1 pick. Okay. So it looks like we have a purple, I believe it's purple lava, or purple ray wave, one of the two. Let's go ahead and snag that for 40. Now Cards HQ does a really good job of making sure that their prices are really close to comps. So I'm not gonna go ahead and look through every price or anything. I'm just gonna assume this one's a pretty good price. Now, this is one I would definitely get graded, get it kind of on the 20, 25 day turnaround time to get it ready for the draft and then going into next season.
All right, so I'm going right to football. It's timing, and it is a little late, admittedly, in the game to be going after football cards right now. I would have recommended doing it a few months ago, but there's still time. Typically, football is what's hottest at the National, and especially into August leading up to the NFL season, and I'm looking for quarterbacks. So I'm gonna be going through football. Honestly, I bashed this guy a lot last year, Caleb Williams, but they stole our offensive coordinator from Detroit. I think he's gonna get him going. Ben Johnson's gonna get Caleb Williams going. He's got weapons like crazy now. So we'll see what happens. But Caleb Williams is a guy, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, these young quarterbacks. Look, this is not about me saying that I think they're going to be very good quarterbacks necessarily. It's about me saying who's going to have the hype. And it's always those like first, second, third year quarterbacks that have the most hype at the National. And then I'm looking for Joe Burrow, maybe even, dare I say, some Trevor Lawrence, because his card prices have come down. Now, he was on the top 5 recently, going up after getting Travis Hunter, but let's just get into the aisles. I don't have a ton of time here, so I'm going to look for stuff. And we talked a little bit about this grading cards, raw to graded. So let me just look here. I see a Drake May gold right there, right out of the chute. I think that could be a hot card. Let me actually pull up Market Movers. They're a little over recent sales. Looks like one just sold. So, you know, one of the things that happened, look, like a week ago, this card sold for $42.31, so their $35 price tag wasn't too bad. There has been a recent sale at $25, so it's dipped a little bit, but I want to look at that card. Man, I might just go for that right out of the chute. I think to me that's the type of card that could sell, you know, bring it to the National and sell it for 45, 50 bucks. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, I know that's $10 profit, but is there a grading opportunity there? Maybe. Well, let's take a look at that one real quick. All right, so one thing I will tell you here at Cards HQ, the team is not like evaluating every raw card they buy. Now I do see a little bit of a corner ding there, which, you know, when you're selling raw can get a little bit tricky. I like the idea of buying May. I'm gonna keep that one in mind, put that back before I lock in. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else in here that I wanna look at. Here's a Caleb Williams Finest Purple. So let's look that one up. Yeah, I think they're a little over on that one too. Let's look at that Drake May Prism. Whoops. Now, one thing I do know about this last year's Prism is that it didn't necessarily grade well. In fact, it didn't grade well. May Prism, and I forget what they call that one, so I'm just gonna pop this open and I'll show you this new feature on Market Movers. So I think that's the Disco actually. So yeah, here's the Disco. Yeah, they're pretty much right on par with that one. And if I look at that card over the last 90, it's down 8%. Obviously way down over the last 90, but let's look at the grades on that. PSA 10 160, PSA 9 51. Dude, I love that card for grading purposes. Like if I look at this, let's see. Centering. I mean, centering left to right, if I'm assuming that that little gap there is supposed to be the same width as that, maybe it's off center, but worth taking a stab. Corner's a little soft. I don't know. I think this would be a very liquid card at the National. I'm taking this one. I'm taking this one out of the showcase.
There's a Luka, actually, optic up here that doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna take a peek at this one actually. And the reason I'm looking at this one is to see if it'd be a candidate for grading. The thing you gotta be wary about cards like this one is your first question should be, why is this one not already graded? So let's go ahead and pull it out of the sleeve and take a peek. Okay. I think there might be a little bit of surface. Oh, I see it. There's a print line. Print line or scratch, I can't tell. Right through the middle of the card. Alrighty. So, you know, I mean, it's a pretty fair price for if you just wanted a raw Luka, but I can definitely see why that one has not been graded. Alrighty, so 40 bucks in. Let's keep looking. Alrighty, let's keep poking around in here. Oh, who's this I see? A Tyrese Halliburton. Okay. He just, as of recording this, he just hit the game winner in game 2 in the series against Cleveland. So now they're up 2-0 against Cleveland. He's really on a hot streak right now. I don't even think I have to comp this. This is for 65 bucks. I'm totally taking this.
Let's see here. I mean, the showcases honestly are stocked really nice. Our team's been buying like crazy. It's been a real challenge to keep the shelves stocked consistently. I know that much. People comment on our videos like, oh, there's nothing in the shelves. It's just that it sells very quickly. We got Jordan Love. He's an interesting one. Here's Jordan Love, but that's Luminance. That's like a tough card to move, in my opinion. There's a Caleb Williams rated rookie. That's Optic, which honestly, a lot of those prices are still kind of normalizing, I would say. I'm gonna pop this open. That's an Optic preview, it looks like. So So maybe that one actually has settled in a little more. I'm guessing that's Red Wave. Yep. 36. So interesting that there was a recent sale at 36, but the average around $50. There are 2 of those. And if I look at the grades, PSA 9, 35, PSA 10, 173. Interesting. 2 of these. Centering looks a little better on this one, left to right than this one. Let's turn them over. Any issues with soft corners? I don't see anything major. The older one is priced a little higher, but I think I'll take a Caleb Williams to go with that Drake May. Why not?
So I'm just looking for guys that still have a lot left in the tank in terms of potential. Maybe either prospects that could break out later that haven't broken out yet. Tyler Hero, my guy for the Heat, he's really coming into his own. Now, I know that he got blown out in the playoffs this year, but he's really filling that Jimmy Butler spot as the number 1 option. That's an interesting one. That would be a little bit more than 90 days out, but you know, I like putting a bet on a Hero for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one. This is one of the Pen Pals autos out of Elite. I love these blue jerseys as well. So selfishly, as a Heat fan, I'm picking that one.
Let's see if there's anything else in here. Here's a Drake May blue scope. That's got to be the optic preview as well. It is. So they did optic previews in Donruss. You can see the set is Donruss. Some volatility on this. 30-day average, $46. So price range. You can see it's come down a lot. Again, I think there's going to be some hype around these guys. I like that card. There's right to left, a little OC. Any other major issues with it? I'm gonna take that one too.
Man, Zion. There's just so much good Zion stuff. If he had the trajectory of, let's say, Anthony Edwards, cards like this would be worth so much more. It's just a shame that he hasn't. So, having mentioned him, Anthony Edwards, that's another one that I'm on the lookout for. I really think if he keeps up the trajectory he's on right now, give it 5 years or less, he could be one of, if not the face of the league. Seeing him go at LeBron in these playoffs, like that was some major Kobe vibes out of him, which you don't really see nowadays. Alrighty, well, let's turn around and take a peek at the graded options. Looks like they've been selling a lot, as you can see. That is the double-edged sort of pricing things so fairly, is that people snatch up a lot of the good cards quickly. All right, I'm not quite seeing anything over here. Let's go ahead and check out some of the football if we can. No, you're good, guys. Okay. Well, I see a lot of Drake May in here, and they just upgraded their offensive line. So we got a couple of Drake Mays here that might be good grading candidates. So, let's go ahead. Thinking with grading in mind, I'm just gonna snatch up all these Drake May Prisms here, because with the 90-day timeline in mind, with the Nationals in just under 90 days away, but that's when the quarterback market really heats up as far as buying, because it's right at the end of July, which is right before the season, and so it's peak optimism about quarterback prospects in particular.
Ooh, Man, I like this one just for my own PC. Projected first rounder in next year's draft, Jeremiah Love. He is a beast. I will tell you that much right now. I don't think there's necessarily going to be a lot of hype behind him right now. I don't necessarily want to get a ton of Drake May either, although I do know a lot of people are very excited about him still. Prism, let's see, what do they call this? 2014? No, they must call it retro. Flashbacks? There it is. 38, 40, they're pretty much on par there with that one. Let's take a look at that. What's that do? See, all of these have a huge premium if they gem. Back, I don't see any issues through the top loader. So what I'm gonna do is I'm kind of stockpiling things right now. And then I'm gonna evaluate, just sort of look at these prices again and say, okay, which of these would I, consider sending off for grading, take the chance, and eat into it.
Another guy I want to be on the lookout for are guys, well, it wouldn't be in the next 90 days, but say a guy like LSU's quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, who many are, this is much more on the gambling side. If he has a good season, he could, go number one next year. But there's a lot of quarterbacks, that could go number one overall next year with a good season. Drew Aller comes to mind. Who knows, maybe even Arch. But that's getting into much more gambling than I think I want to be for this little challenge. Ooh, I got another one. So as of, I believe this morning of recording, George Pickens right here just got traded to the Cowboys, which is a crazy move. That could either be amazing for, Dak having two, elite weapons, or he could just, implode that locker room. It's a fun little gamble. Who knows? Maybe, Cowboys fans will have a hankering for George Pickens at the National. Be a good spot to unload that. Even though it's mostly quarterbacks that drive the market, elite wide receivers who get as much attention like him, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, they have their own market. Much smaller, but they still have their own market.
There's Jeff's guy. I'm surprised he hasn't bought that Ricky Pearsall. That's an interesting card, I will say that, because he's going to have an increased role. But between now and the next 90 days, is Ricky Pearsall going to be getting the hobby's attention? I'm not so sure. He could be the type of player to me that in season pops off in price, as one of those sort of more like flying under the radar type guys. We got Travis Hunter here. This is his Bowman. Let's see, raw. Which parallel is that? That looks like a pink or magenta, purple mini diamond. No. Fuchsia mini diamond, maybe? Yeah, that's the fuchsia mini diamond. So we've got a Travis Hunter fuchsia mini diamond here. Not a lot of those selling. So not necessarily going to be super liquid. At the same time, I mean, maybe. I want to see, like, what's his other stuff from this set been doing? Like this purple shimmer. Not much, not a ton of sales. What about just this pink refractor? So they've dipped a little bit. I don't know that I want to put $50 in my budget toward that card.
See some Malik Neighbors. Got the purple. I like him a lot. Fortunately, their quarterback situation is TBD. Now they did get, Jackson Dart. They got Russ. They got Jameis at the moment. Who knows? If Jackson Dart, after a year sitting behind Russ, if let's say he develops and then he can really come out for his sophomore year and be something special. That could be an option. Oh, okay. We got Jordan Addison, immaculate RPA. Man, $85. That seems all right. Another one I like is Brian Thomas Jr. That guy can play. He does have Trevor throwing him the ball, which is always a gamble, but yeah, that guy, he outperformed where he got drafted a bit. Oh, another cool card they have. This is actually, it's Pat McAfee's rookie, in air quotes, card. It's, I believe, from 2015 Topps. That wasn't his rookie year, but that was the first card they had of him. So you know why that carries value. Man, that's such a good price for the Roma Dunze. That auto right there. It's just, man, they got a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago. Who could take a step this year? Ooh. Remember that gamble I told you about? Very, very gambly if you want to gamble on Nussmeier blowing up this year. That would be one of the cards to gamble on. Of course, if we had over 1,000, you know, these downtowns don't look too shabby, obviously. Especially thinking 90 days down the road if you wanted to sell at the National. Check out the graded options that they got. Now, last year's time, this would have been a lot hotter of a card than it will be this year. Now that he's in a quarterback competition with Daniel Jones. I'm gonna take a peek over here at Market Movers. Let's see what this this Drake May black and white checker is doing. All right, let's see. Alrighty, so raw, it's doing about 150. Oh, looks like it's right on comps, which Cards HQ usually is. So I'm thinking if we can find something numbered of Drake May, I'd rather that a little bit. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead and pick this one up right here. You know, we're gambling a lot on Drake May, but, you know, when we're thinking quarterbacks that are going to have a lot of hype going into this season, that might be a little bit undervalued right now. I think it's you're betting on Drake May. Guys who may be, you know, a little less underhyped are guys like Caleb and Jaden, who had, you know, one had a good and then one had an outstanding rookie year. Where Drake May, you know, was off and on, got hurt, you know, but the talent is there for sure.
Oh, here's a Jaden Daniels green. Prism. A couple nice Jaden Daniels here. That red mosaic's really sharp. Let's look at the red. It's got to be, I think that's just called red mosaic. There we go. This is $70. Yeah, they're right on par with that one. All right, that one's a no-brainer in my opinion. To be totally honest, that seems like a no-brainer. Finding value here for sure. So, really sharp-looking card, color match. Hurts me a little bit to hold this in light of what happened in the playoffs last year with him and my Lions. A little bit of corner and edge wear, maybe not necessarily. Could be worth taking a chance on, but even at a 9, it doesn't look like it would get worse than that. I'm definitely taking a chance on grading that one. We got his green prism. That one's come down some over the last month. I know these grade tough, not gonna do that one. Whoops. So here's the nice thing too, guys, is like I can switch this when I'm in here. Let's say I'm looking at the silver. Oh, now I see JJ McCarthy. So I can just type in here McCarthy and switch right to his card. It's so easy to navigate in the Market Movers mobile app now when you're looking at prices for things. So McCarthy, $65. Over the last, I think they're a little low on that. Let's take a look at the McCarthy. Like, I don't actually have a lot of optimism personally around JJ McCarthy. I'm not a U of M fan, and it's a divisional rival of the Lions, so I won't be rooting for him. But a lot of people think that because of the weapons and what Sam Darnold was able to do there last year, and admittedly a solid coaching staff, that could be a good fit. So here's a couple McCarthys. I think both of these, I think he sees a run up over the next year. I'm gonna grab both of these.
$430 left to spend. Oh, they got a Lewis Gold refractor in here. That's new. Right here. Now that 2020 Chrome set being the first year holds a lot of value. And the images they used in that set, I think that was the best year we've had of Topps Chrome F1. You know, he's not doing the best this season with Ferrari. He's finishing like 8th now instead of, challenging for wins. But man, $100 for a gold refractor. I know it's a PSA 7, but this set is notorious for being very difficult to grade. I think I'm gonna pick that up. Now, 90 days necessarily, maybe not be the time frame. Who knows if you can figure it out with Ferrari now. But a gold refractor of Lewis from this set, it's just a good one to add.
I got 635 left, and let's keep going here. I got a Bo Nix, again, really easy. Look, I can literally just tap that player drop down. I can look at the pictures if I want to look at them. So I could just pop, oh, there's Bo Nix, and pop it open. 75, yeah, that's recent. It's like the recent sale, 60-day, 30-day average, 77. That card's come down a lot in the last 90 days. That's another no-brainer. I'm honestly surprised Parker didn't pick these cards up already. Just going with the very liquid Prism Silvers seems like a no-brainer to me. 75 on this. And do I just double down and go double Bo Nix? I mean, the one thing to keep in mind is the timing of when these came out. But these came out in December. It's been long enough. I don't expect these to gem. I know these are a really tough gem rate. 407 9s, 181 10s. But snagging a couple of Bo Nixes, as long as there's no major issues with them, I'm going to grab both of those. I'm assuming Caleb Williams here. If I switch back, there's Caleb Williams. 90-day average, $118. 30-day average, oh, that's his variation. So rookie variation silver. 75. There was a spike. Those can be a little bit tougher. It's funny, like baseball versus football, how that can vary pretty significantly between image variations, which are highly sought after in baseball. Let's go back to Drake May here. I don't have too much Drake May. I've already got a lot of Drake May. I might end up putting back 90-day average, 81. Can these get back up to $100? I'm gonna grab one of these for sure. Let me look at the Mays that I already have. All right, here's what I'm gonna say. That's enough Drake May. That's enough Drake May. I got enough into Drake May. There's a lot of good stuff in here still. Jahmyr Gibbs is cool. We got Jaden Daniels. Is that a pink optic? Is that optic preview or regular? That is the optic preview pink. They're definitely high on that one.
330 left. Let me take a peek at the UFC. Okay, so I know this is it's a case hit, this insert right here, UFC Fight Night. That's Tom Aspinall, who at the moment, it seems like for about a year has been campaigning to get his rightfully earned title shot against John Jones, who just keeps holding out and holding out. But if they can get that fight together and he can beat John Jones, the GOAT in everyone's mind, basically, I think that raises his stock a lot. Let's go ahead and grab it. 35. I would definitely want to get this graded as well. Being a case hit, that's not too bad.
So let me go back to my original QB list here. I've gotten lots of JJ McCarthy. No, not lots, but I got a couple of those. I got some Drake May. I got Caleb Williams. I got a little Jaden Daniels. Got Bo Nix. I'd like to find some Jordan Love, some Burrow. I'd definitely like to find some Burrow. Probably tougher to find some raw Burrow. Man, that Jaden Daniels is sweet too, though. That finest gold. Wow, that really spiked that much? The problem with the finest stuff is I think it came out too recently. It needs to cool off more. So like when I'm looking at products, I want to know that they've had their cool down period from their release date. It's always more expensive when it comes out. More supply hits the market, more comes out, and now you see some stabilization on the prices that you're looking for before you're going to try to say, oh, I want to flip this in the next 90 days. Okay, so I know I said I'm not sure about Ricky Pearsall, but explosives are pretty popular. Like, so Deebo Samuel is out. He went to the Commanders, which is crazy. And now we've got Pearsall, who even was emerging last year as a very viable receiver. He was great in college. Looking at that one raw, looks like it's about 100. Had spiked. Last 90 was around that 115 mark. I want to look at the other players in the checklist and see what they're going for. So I can pop this open and look at all those prices. Brock Bowers, $255. Very interesting. Drake May, $305. McCarthy, $300. Penix. Boy, even Roma Dunze at $136. I'm going with that. I'm going with that Ricky Pearsall. I'm going to take a chance. That's a polarizing one. Many of you in the comments may think that one's a dumb pick, but so silencing the crowd. I got to make Jeff proud, though. Maybe he'll cast a vote in the comments and vote for me because I picked a Gator. Who knows? Brock Purdy, I don't know. I know I just picked up this Pearsall, but like Purdy, things are like wearing out on Purdy now. Like, I don't know how much people are high on him anymore. I feel like at this point everybody just thinks it's been his weapons. This is kind of a make or break season for Purdy in many ways, I think, for his card values. So,
pretty interesting card here. I don't know too much, but is a Shawn Michaels auto with an HBK inscription. I know it's tie-dye, so I'd be at 25. That's an interesting play. I might be thinking too much about these. Let's take a peek. Basically, we got $300 left. And not a lot of time to spend it, so I gotta move a little quicker. $300. Where do I want to put my money to beat Teapot?
And one card I will not be buying for this challenge is this DJ Lagway. I'm not buying a card with a Gator Chomp happening on it. That goes too far. There could be some buzz around him, though, heading into the season next year. Is that sneaky? Is that a sneaky play, Lagway? I hate to say it. I got to win the challenge. I got to set my ego aside and win the challenge. All right, I'm going to go Lagway, number to 100. Let's see. Doesn't look like a lot of those have sold is the problem, if any. Weird. Maybe I guess that came out recently. 151. It's kind of the last sale. All right, I'm going to skip the Lagway. There could be some hype around him with the season, but typically I hear like NFL hype while I'm at the National more than the college football scene. Let's see, Bo Nix, auto. Derrick Henry, man, I had him on my fantasy team last year, and boy, did that pay off. That guy is a beast. A lot of people still very high, as usual, on the Ravens this upcoming season. So, okay, there's Caleb Williams silvers. There's a stack of them there. So these are his silver prisms. Looks like there's a healthy stack there. Let's see, silver. That sold for, we're looking at 106 last 30 days. Last sale, 117. Definitely has come down. I gotta go with a couple of those, right? Minus 200. Let's grab a couple of those Caleb Williams. Let's take a look at these real quick too, because there is a stack here. 4 of them. One of them at 110. Does that mean it's in better condition? All right, just making sure I don't see any major. I'm gonna grab these two. I'm gonna go 2 Caleb Williams. So I got $215 left. I'm gonna shift my attention away from these raw cards because graded Graded typically is what's more liquid. And I'm gonna look and see if I can't find some graded Burrows or something along those lines.
That's interesting. Only thing is, a couple years ago, the Dolphins were on the up and up. Now they're looking like a rebuild. That's about to happen, unfortunately. Oh, this is Jaden Daniels. That's the no-name variation. That's a short print from Donruss. That would put us, right in the 300 wheelhouse. Let me go ahead one more time and bring up Market Movers and just check out this Jaden Daniels no name. Okay. Oh man, a PSA 10 lasted 360. Yeah, we can't do that.
Boy, that Baker Mayfield silver is very interesting. Baker's had a heck of a comeback. This is field level. Let's do field level silver. And let's do PSA 9. Yeah, these just don't ever sell. So I'm not gonna do that one. Here's a T-Law Cosmic. Like I said, some of these I wonder, let's look it up. Last sale was a year ago, so that's tough. And they're up on that. He came down a lot. It is tough, when these cards, those cards are very rare. They don't sell a ton. I don't really want to touch that one, honestly. These ultraviolets are some of my favorite cards, just in general. I love them. You got to see it in hand and the lighting and everything. They're really cool. CJ Stroud, Tank Dell. Dang, that manga's just one too many zeros. I'm in the high-end showcase now. I'm not going to find anything for 220 in here. So let's see if anything else in the graded section stands out to me. Man, I thought maybe what if Parker already cleaned out all the Burrows or anything else? There's just not this is like the tough part is graded moves. Okay, this reactive yellow, Jaden. There are a couple Burrow tag 9s, Mosaic silver, a couple Burrows here. I think I remembered already looking at those ones. They might be a tad high on those ones. Let's see. Let's look at what they do in a PSA 9. Yeah, just a little high on those guys. PSA 9s are doing $32. So probably not going to get 70 on a tag 9. I don't see a lot of other stuff here in the graded section. So the other thing I want to take a minute and I want to pause and think outside of football. I don't want to do all football. I could. I don't think I'd go wrong doing only football, but we got baseball going on. It's going to be post All-Star game. Could I find some Aaron Judge, who's been hot, who's been going up? I think let's pivot and let's go walk over to the baseball aisle where maybe we find some more graded stuff. That Ohtani at 320 on the gold. Looks a little chewed up though. Looks a little chewed up on the corner on the top left. This is probably why it's still raw and not graded. I always question cards that are still raw like that. Very iconic cards, like what's the story there? Let's go look at graded. We got some prospects. Now is not necessarily the time to be prospecting. Colton Cowser's come down a ton, Jordan Walker too. Cowser's injured. He's on my fantasy team and he's injured. Ooh, okay. Tatis Refractor. All right. Don't tell me you're too high on that Cards HQ, because that's one I might be kind of high on. They're basically right on, and that card is trending upward right now. Yeah, 100%. No brainer on that one. $80.
I know it's a little bit generic and repetitive, but my other backup is, of course, this Drake May auto right here. I know it's from Topps Chrome, but it's unlicensed, but it is a Drake May auto. And I gotta spend $300 pretty soon. Let's just do it. So that puts us, I believe, $5 over, but I think that can be forgiven.
I got 135 left. Ooh, Corbin Carroll. These are the 1989 autos. I just worry about I don't know. These, you can move them. It's a Corbin Carroll auto, you can move them, but let's see here. All right, let's look at Soto Topps. He's come down a lot. Yeah, that one's cooled off quite a bit. Oh, that's a cool card. Not technically a color match, it's green. Kind of looks like it, that speckle of J-Rod. Got a Dominguez gold refractor at 150. So that's at 150. They're a little high on that one. And I don't technically have that much left. Interesting one on the X-Fractor. Jose Ramirez. I think they're a little high on the 9 at 140. Doesn't look like any have really sold recently, but a 10 just did 208. So, and raw 61.73. Let's check basketball graded and see if there's anything playoff relevant. Round 2 is off to a very interesting start so far because the Pacers are up 2-0 as of recording this video. It's been interesting. So Amen Thompson just got bounced from the playoffs. If the Rockets had won that series, he could be an interesting play. A lot of Zion Williamson in the showcases. What's gonna happen to Zion, everybody? I think at some point he'll wind up on another team, and then his cards will get a little bit of renewed life. Something that, that happens to a lot of players in their career. Huge spikes, crash, crash, crash. Go to a new team, boink, like that, and then come back down. There's an Anthony Edwards Galactic. But that's probably not got any sales either. Ooh, any Caitlin Clark. That would be a good snag. If we have it, I mean, any that's even remotely affordable. Here you go. Man, I'm wondering, I don't actually know how her Bowman stuff is doing right now. So let's check that out. Is it just the pink refractor, I'm guessing? Last 90 days, $76. Last sale, $86. I mean, 70 bucks? Yeah, I'll take a Caitlin Clark. Make Parker proud. Parker's sister, believe it or not, was friends with Caitlin Clark in college. Both went to Iowa. So shout out Parker's sister. All right, minus 70 bucks. What does that leave me with? Let's see how we can do the math. Minus 70. I'm down to $65. I'm gonna stay right in this showcase here and try to put a bow on this thing. There's another Caitlin Clark Bowman. Bowman U. Regular refractor? I think they're a little high on that guy, that gal. All right, we got 20 bucks on the Prism Clarks. Let's check those out. All right, those have been trending back down. They were up in the $20 range. Last 30 days, they're more like 14, 15 bucks. PSA 9, 30, PSA 10. Wow, those must be really tough grades. Let me make sure I lock this. That's a huge payday for a PSA 10. It must just, the gem rate must just be terrible on those. Those are the rookie variations. All right, I want to try to come back down here. I got 65 bucks left. I got Jaw Silver. Obviously, didn't really work out for them. The Magic, Paolo, gave it their best go, but they just got bounced. Definitely not going to buy a card of a player that just got eliminated. Castle, here's a Stephon Castle, probably Rookie of the Year. Bozelis had a nice finish to the season, I would say, for the Bulls. They got to be somewhat excited about him and his prospects. Okay, Campus Legends Red Mojo, Caitlin Clark. It's a red Pulsar, it looks like. Wow, there's a lot of reds. Red Seismic, Red Ice, Red Wave, Red Scope. Oh my gosh, Red Pulsar. Hasn't sold in a while. Brunson, but that's not a rookie card. The Knicks just beat the Celtics in game 1 after a crazy comeback. The guy's clutch. I'll be honest, I don't like his foul baiting, and I'm not happy that they eliminated the Pistons, but Is there a player in the NBA right now you'd rather have the ball in their hand other than him? I mean, clutch player of the year for sure. You know what? Maybe that Castle. Let me look that Castle up. We'll look up the Castle. Gonna win Rookie of the Year. You know what? Let's pick up that Castle. That puts us $5 over. And we'll see. Parker's just gonna have to accept it. Our cameraman Rob, did Parker finish right at 1,000?
1,005.
Oh, well then we're gonna be right on par. This works out perfectly. Okay, Parker. I wanna see what you went after.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you my approach in a minute, but walk me through what you got here and what you went after.
So it ended up being a lot of Drake May.
Oh no,
You
that's
know.
what I did too. I got a lot
Well,
of, maybe
we had
more
the
than I wanted.
same mentality of,
Yeah.
guys who are on the up and up.
Yes.
90 days from now
Yep.
is like the prime
Yep.
quarterback football market.
Yep.
So
Let me take
I
a look
got
here.
this
Okay,
all
gold.
etched.
Is that finest or chrome? That's chrome.
chrome,
Okay.
and it's actually yellow, I believe,
Okay.
at a
So
75.
75. Ooh,
But
nice.
because he doesn't have any Panini
Right,
autos,
autos.
these are the only autos you can get.
Yeah,
of
I
Drake.
can't argue with that pick.
Yeah. So this was like my final $300. Clock
Okay.
was running down. I
Yeah.
had to grab something.
No, but that's not a bad card to snatch at the end.
Yep.
Oh, I love this one.
I know.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah. So Tom Aspinall,
Yeah.
SSP Fight Night.
that's
Just
sick.
because if they can finally make the fight with John Jones and he can beat John Jones,
Yeah. Not planned
know.
for the next 90 days.
I know. Just
So
true.
I do like
But-
the Aspinall. I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
appreciate it in the 90-day time frame, but we'll
You
see.
never know. Well, if they sign the deal to fight within 90 days,
Could be. Could
because
be.
UFC works off of hype.
Yeah,
So.
could be. Okay.
And then I saw Lewis.
Yep.
First year Chrome.
yeah. At
gold.
PSH 7.
Well, this whole set is kind of grades are less important in this set because so many of them were like really hard to grade.
Okay. All right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not my strong suit. I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know who Lewis Hamilton is. More May.
Mormon.
Yep. More May.
With the
Moss May.
black.
and white.
This is like an exact
Yeah.
comp of 250.
There was like not a lot of graded football to
I
choose
know.
from, so that would have been one I would have definitely probably targeted
Yeah.
if I had seen that one.
Just stuff that would move at the national.
Yep.
you
Yep.
know.
That was
And
my
then,
mindset too.
of course,
Pickens.
on the back of
yeah, the auto is his auto
Terrible autograph.
never ceases to make me
terrible teammate,
Shaking my
terrible
head.
autograph. He'll be a
Yeah.
great cowboy though.
a very stereotypical cowboy.
He's perfect.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm just
yeah, off to the Cowboys. So
Yeah.
he should get some. That's probably already worth more
it probably
than
is.
what you just
you
bought
know?
it for.
And then of course, we didn't factor in grading costs, but of course I would send these off to get graded.
Yeah.
Take a gamble on them, 25 a piece.
I was looking at a lot in market movers at the 9 and 10 gap and just say what would the price cost be here?
Yeah.
What's my break even? So yeah, we didn't factor the grading cost into this.
Mm-hmm.
$25 or so.
Yep.
But grading is one of the best ways to make a profit, obviously. so-
Indeed.
Okay.
Another one that would definitely get graded is this Cooper flag.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Like my mind just didn't
90
even go
days,
there.
yeah,
I was
'cause-
fixated on NBA playoffs. Ooh,
'Cause-
that's probably a sneaky smart one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This
What
is
is
the
that
only
one?
Cooper. This
Yeah.
isn't even numbered, but
Yeah.
I just figured he's going to be so hot.
Yeah.
When the draft
Yeah.
rolls around that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I didn't
Halliburton.
comp this one either, but it'll be fun to look up. I know it's college, but with him just exploding.
Up 2-0, the Pacers
Yeah.
are crazy.
So-
Crazy start. I know everybe's been doubting Cleveland all year in spite of their record. It
Really?
doesn't help that they've. Oh yeah,
Doubting?
everybody's been talking about the Celtics, being,
Yeah.
being the team to beat, who dropped Game 1 to the Knicks. So
Right?
this looks like a homer pick if I
A
had to
little
guess.
bit, I mean, it's out of 25.
Trying to pander to Doug in the comments, get him to vote for you.
I guess so.
Tyler Hero.
It is my Heat, so
Need a hero. All right.
I like him as the Jimmy Butler replacement. So
Yeah, but they're out of the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pretty much went. I did get a couple basketball cards. So I started out with Stephon Castle.
I saw that. I saw that
probably gonna win
exact
Rookie of
card.
the year. Number to 49, $70. This was great at comps. I think it was actually $5 below.
Yeah.
Maybe what it had sold for recently. Caitlin Clark, WNBA season starting back up, preseason's in. I think she didn't play the first game because of an injury. Who knows?
Yeah.
But she's
Can
gonna
her
have
market
hyper-
go higher?
This one I think was also
It's the only,
like
problem
$5.
with
This one had
cards.
come down. The piece that I was like curious about was like now that she has WNBA cards,
Yeah.
like how much these hold. But it is the Bowman First.
You know?
It looks like it's some of her other ones have been on the rise. So
I think those ones will be uniquely
Yeah.
still kind of desired, just because of how she took over
College.
basketball
that's a good
first.
point. That's
You
a
know,
good point. Yeah, I agree. Good. Thanks
Yeah.
for helping me, my cause. I went 2 Caleb Williams,
Yep.
Prism Silvers. These are actually a little below comps. And if you just look, I mean, I know, when did Prism come out? Last December? Was it December-ish? Like 6
gosh.
months ago? I think it was December that this
They-
originally came
yeah.
out. So it's come down a lot since then. But I think this has the potential around the national to get even raw to get back up around maybe 130-ish. So if you're moving them in person, cash exchanges, not worrying about fees. This set incredibly tough to grade. This last year's
Yes.
Prism, like really, really bad gem rates. Went with the May
Like those.
flashback,
Yeah.
the 2014 silver. So that one, another May. Here, let me see. I'll pull out all the May because I know I've got more. Let's go here. So I went with a May silver, a May disco, and a blue scope May. So more May. May the 4th be with you.
you just kind of went with the meat and potatoes approach.
I did.
Which I can't blame you for.
Just stuff that I know
yes,
people would go.
just
"Oh,
to
do you
kind
have
of
any-
right there,
do you have any Drake May?"
quarterbacks, all that kind of stuff.
So Bo Nix silver, just liquid stuff. This one I would definitely grade.
Yep.
Based on how I looked at it. A nice color match on the Daniels red. I think this one in a 9 was like break even, 10 was like a $200+ card. McCarthy, Prism Silver. I mentioned it's not a guy that I'm necessarily high on, but I do think that other people are high on
Sometimes
him.
those are like the ones that blow up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we
I
don't
actually
see
had
it
2 of
coming
those.
necessarily, but he's got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
He has weapons, which is
You
why I
know.
think people are. And
The
he was a high
quarterback
draft
guru,
pick,
yeah.
so people want to see him play. So, not unlike Jordan Love's situation a
Mm-hmm.
few years ago. I got another Caleb Williams, Red Wave. This is an optic. I think this was an optic preview. Another Bo Nix silver, and then
Are you appealing to Jeff now?
yeah, that's what I was saying. You'll get Doug's vote in the comments, and I'll get Jeff's, so they'll
Pearsall.
offset. So he's got some buzz behind him because Debo's out, because the situation with Ayuk is pretty sketchy. Obviously, the Niners are expected to take a step back. I literally went from saying, in one moment, I'm not going to buy any Pearsall, even though I think he might have some buzz because I think he's a better in-season flip opportunity, which is outside of 90 days.
Yes.
If he breaks out, he's one of those guys that could just go,
Yep.
But then I saw it's an explosive. Those are pretty liquid, and even like relative to Roma Dunze and others, this was very cheap.
Yeah, I agree. I would
So,
take him over Rome.
I
think-
feel like this
yeah.
is a card I could hard sell in person, like at a show,
Yeah.
and make some profit on, even if it's like $15-20. Like you could make some profit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tatis, this is PSA 10 Topps Chrome. Nothing crazy, but he's top 3 in MVP odds right now in
Mm-hmm.
the NL. Padres are playing fantastic baseball, and Tatis is just. If it weren't for the performance-enhancing cream issue that got him suspended, he'd be incredibly popular.
Yeah.
So that pretty much does it. What do you think of my? I mean, geez, we basically took the same strategy outside of a few cards.
Looking at it, I think I went for maybe a little too much variety.
Yeah,
But I like your meat and potatoes approach.
nice.
But I think my cards might have a higher upside than his.
If you can find the right person, you might have some, opportunity. But I like my meat and potatoes approach. You let me know down in the comments. So the goal here was, you could sell these. I could go and sell these anytime from right now up through the next 90 days. Who do you think stands the best odds of winning? And other than that, just leave us a comment down below. Let us know who you think won. And if you want to see more videos about this or like this, let us know. Until next time, happy investing. Keep on collecting and make sure to have fun.